Welcome everybody to EPIC41 with Intel, day 3 of the Overwatch coverage. Of course, sponsored by Overclockers, Draytech, Asus Replica Gamers, and Big Purple. I'm Toasty here with Gio, and we're going to be covering the first playoff games of the day. And we're starting off with a good one. But first of all, let's go over the format for the day.
Yes, it's day 2. It's finals day, which means we're ramping up in a double elimination bracket where every match has so many stakes. We're starting here in the winner's bracket. The loser of this next match goes down to the loser's bracket.
Yeah.
You know how double elimination works. It's the best format, and it creates so many stories. There might even be some upsets today, and this first match is going to slowly lead us towards the finals, which will be on the stage. And now there's a big beautiful LED on the stage here at EPIC41 with Intel, and that's sponsored by Big Purple. It's going to be a really awesome finals. But before we get there, we do need to start with 721 versus Warwick. And this has happened before. It happened last night.
Yeah.
It was almost a reverse sweep, but the roster of 721 were able to stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. The very last game we saw last night and the very first game we're seeing today, so an immediate rematch, an immediate chance for revenge from the side of Warwick, who unfortunately lost on Shambali in a horrific C9. I mean, getting full held due to a C9. I mean, they were winning that fight. They could have touched the point. Oh, it was crazy. If you haven't seen it, folks, you should go back on the VOD, have a look at it, see the C9 for yourselves. But let's get into the crux of these teams, right? The big players we're looking at.
Yes.
I think on the side of Warwick, we are looking at one specific player, Meta1, who is a bit of a Farah and Sim OTP, and we saw that last night in the Farah-based compositions that Warwick were playing.
Yeah, historically, Warwick are known for two things: Hog, Sim. It's cooked. Whatever you want to say about it, it's cooked. But yeah, we saw that Sim not really show up. We didn't really see the Hog show up. It was more Queen, Farah Mercy. It was an interesting opposition that did eventually start to give 721 issue, forced them to make some hero changes off of Tracer as well onto more of the Ashe, and that's where that potential reverse sweep came in. Now these teams, they've slept on that game. They know each other a little better now, so you're expecting that both these teams are going to come in with maybe a bit of a game plan to get the edge over the other.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on 721's side, it's more going to be a change in the play style and the actual content of the gameplay, right?
Yeah.
They were a bit sloppy in maps 3 and 4 when they almost got reverse swept on their dives, the 3-2-1 power drives. You know, you're playing the ball comp, you want to blow up the enemy backline.
Yeah.
Not only is it hard to into a Lucio Mercy or you know, a Mercy Kiriko, but they're also just a bit sloppy on, you know, capitalizing when there's no cooldowns available for those supports. So 721, they want to brush up their gameplay a little bit, and Warwick might want to cook something else up that can actually deal with the Soldier Tracer and the Tracer Echo that 721 have been fielding.
Yeah, and we're starting out on Control, and 721 already trying to curve that Farah ball. They've banned Nepal. Warwick came back, banned some more. We're going to Li Zhang. Now, Li Zhang, still very good for Farah. Night Market and Gardens historically has seen Farah get a lot of play. Thing about that, though, old Farah. When Farah can be high in the sky and can really sustain being up in the air, specifically on Gardens, up on the tower, that can't really happen anymore, right? A little bit more grounded, a little bit more horizontal speed for the character. So that Farah player is going to have to adapt on Gardens to how they maybe usually would play that. So I'll be curious to see how they play around that change in Farah. Of course, we haven't seen a lot of Farah lately because hero just got reworked. So players aren't really bringing them into competition. But it is Night Market we're starting on. Another situation where Farah can be very good. Go around the coast, get that off angle. Also, though, you could make an argument for a Sim if you wanted to TP to point. 721, though, you can see, not really changing too much. We know this team a lot. We saw a lot of them yesterday. Totaly's going to be on the Wrecking Ball. Mr. Vaughn's going to likely be on the Tracer, with Blizzard on the Somber. Get that 3-2-1 with the Discord Orb coming from Santix.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get Santix set up and in position, because that that Discord is just so necessary for these 3-2-1 power drives, and if 7-2-1 want to do what we said and actually clean this up, they need to get Santix in a position for it. You know, Warwick, they instead want to be going into that backline, putting pressure on Santix and making sure they can't position aggressively, and doing that with the Junker Queen, the Tracer, the Genji should be quite an easy feat, as long as they can get out some of the cooldowns and maybe catch Sketchy out of position. Blizzard Star already forced out in the backline though there on the Sombra, as J9 was marking them. Already low though, Warwick need to keep this Tracer alive if they want to win that duel against Mr. Von, who was doing such a good job yesterday and already has gotten the first kill. Cheeselord goes down, Meta1 gets booped off the map out of all things, and 7-2-1, a clean teamfight win there.
I think Mr. Vaughn was having himself some naturals and wanted to melt some cheese over them. Found that initial pick, started it out for 7-2-1. And we have seen J9 and Mr. Vaughn have a lot of back and forth. J9, a lot of the time getting the better of Mr. Vaughn. J9, a very good Tracer player. Meta1, however, on the Genji rather than the Pharah here, and has struggled so far to find a follow-up on the damage taken.
Yeah, absolutely. I think here for Warwick, you just want to bait out cooldowns, get in there, but Santix, I mean, just uses the Transcendence. That's one thing you can bait out, I suppose. I don't think it was necessary with the first couple of kills that came through from 7-2-1 there, but either way, Santix, after the Trans, gets a couple of Constellation kills as well.
Yeah, I mean, 7-2-1 are well aware of what Warwick want to do. They want to speed their queen onto the backline, try and take Santix out. But, of course, Gruber playing goalie, not letting that happen, booping them about, making it harder to do so that the pile drive can come through. Totally's going to have the mines as well as Warwick push in. It's going to be a tough next fight for them.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Warwick seem a bit uncomfortable when they're not playing this Pharah style. I thought they'd be running it, but Meta1 on the Genji is not able to do as much as we originally thought they might. The Coalescence here very early from Warwick. Again, it doesn't really get too much. In fact, you just got Totally creating havoc, booping Cheeselord off of the map again. That's a second environmental kill coming through there from Totally, and Mr. Von with the cleanup work. It's going all wrong for Warwick at the minute.
Yeah, oh, good Gracie on to Santix. Does find it with their life. That's a little bit of a lifeline for the next fight for Warwick, which they do need to rush into with 83% on the first point. They are really struggling against Totally creating so much space. Sheilers almost went down to a hack and follow up from the Tracer. Panic time now as they push into a potential EMP in this next fight. It needs to be a big rampage.
Yeah, the Rampage needs to hit at least 3 or 4 players just to make sure that that Trans can't get any value when it comes up. But Santix already finds Cheeselord, and again, Mr. Von finds Rosden, just getting the first 2 or 3 eliminations in all of these team fights. Someone stop this man.
7-2-1 looking like a bunch of mice because they're nibbling on that cheese at the start of every fight. It's going down. The Moira is just being forced and forced and forced. The Fate's coming out. Sometimes the Fate doesn't even have a chance to come out. And it's just unfortunate that for Cheeselord, it's unfortunate for Cheeselord that they were just going down first in every fight. It's something that Warwick need to adapt to. I think 7-2-1 have maybe found that weakness and are really pushing it. Because that is one of the win conditions. Force Fate, get the Moira down. 7-2-1 now as we go to Control Center map. We've seen Blizzard Star do this before where they played a Mei with a ball. We were very confused about it. It didn't quite make sense in paper. But on this map, having a Mei, you can block someone off like a queen, follow up on them, and it's all over. Janie needs to be very careful of getting booped out of position here and just taken out because they're very squishy in this situation.
Okay, we got the Meta1 Torbjorn pick. Now this is an adaptation we saw yesterday from Warwick in order to try and deal with the 7-2-1 Wrecking Ball comp. It worked quite well, to be honest, and it was where they started their reverse sweep. And there we go, right? That turret marks the Tracer. Mr. Von goes down just a little bit sloppy in terms of, not realizing that turret was there. J9 is going low and will get pile drived onto, but no follow-up comes through there as Cheeselord very on top of healing the team. Meta1 falls, but everyone else goes down as well for 7-2-1, so doesn't matter too much there as Warwick get first cap.
Yeah, the turret being the first elimination there, it's it's unconventional, but you know what? It works in this specific scenario. It's something they threw at the wall last time, which did start to work, and Meta1 has been finding a lot of, you can find lots of good angles on the Torbjorn and catch people out. But J9 maybe going to find Santix. Oh, as went away from that.
Yeah, Santix's positioning there was quite weird, trying to get a coastal off angle like you're playing Kiriko, but it's Zen instead. Either way, Warwick, okay, a couple of cooldowns forced there, Fade and an Overclock, both used by the Torb and the Moira respectively. It's an opportunity for 721 to try and get a couple of kills, but J9 is in the back, manages to dash in, right-click Santix out of existence, and 721 now, their health balls are suffering a little bit. Mr. Von doesn't have that Harmony Orb, so can't go aggro, and Warwick will take another fight.
Every single hero on Warwick, if they get pile drive, they have a way out. You've got Dash, you've got the overhealth of Torb, overhealth of Queen, Fade, boot for Frau. Frau's probably the most most threatened by that pile drive. 721 though, they need to start to get a grip at this one. Mr. Vaughn's going to be looking for the pulse, but it's that Transcendence that's going to help them push through against a Coalescence, which will come out very early here from Cheeselord.
You got to be really careful because you got a Blade and a Coalescence that you have to trance here if you're Santix. It needs to be really perfectly timed to try and encapsulate both of those ults as J9 goes aggro looking for the Blade. Maybe a bit too aggro there, but it forces out the Transcendence Molten Core now to try and zone off the 721 players in the face of that trance. A beat from Thrall came out a little bit early though. Everyone on Warwick susceptible to the damage, but Rosden finds Blizzard Star, goes for the Rampage as well, hits 3! Huge Rampage there from Rosden. Is the follow-up going to be there though? Totally goes low, but not finished off quite yet. Mr. Vaughn just barely misses a couple shots onto Thrall there, can't finish off the kill, and Warwick, a pretty messy but winnable team fight there for them, and they just have to get the cleanup.
Yeah, this closed off area of this map just plays a little bit more into Warwick. This point definitely in terms of compositions was for them to win, especially with the Torb pick, as they can really zone out lots of angles, which we saw them do with the E ability of Torbjorn, which I forget the name of because it's been a while since I've seen Torbjorn in competitive play, but you know what, it really works here. I am curious to see what they will do on Gardens, because that Torb not really going to work as well. Very open. There's less narrow corridors to spam down as a Torbjorn. Perhaps here we see them go back on to the Zen. Farah, of course. It looks like they're sticking with it. I mean, to be fair, if it worked, why change it?
Yeah.
This way, you probably want to avoid going to the bridge. You want to go to the White Room, where it's nice and narrow, and you can put that turret set up in the back, help Cheeselord stay alive. I like this idea from them. I think Mr. Vaughn needs to realize that his nemesis isn't a turret. It's the actual active players.
Yeah. It's not just an NPC that gets you kills, you know. But yeah, I like Warwick's adaptations here. You know, yesterday the Farah was not working as amazingly as it could have, so they've gone over to like this Torbjorn Tracer style. J9 can mark Mr. Vaughn and the turret assists with that, while Warwick just stand on the point and play safe, you know? Cheeselord does go down a little bit low here. Blizzard Star managed to hit a good virus, but was totally just being chipped away at because of Rosden's close-range Junker Queen shots. It's very difficult to get an engage in here, even if you have the Discord from Santix in position. I mean, 3 players on 721 below half HP. There's no way to engage like this, and Warwick are happy to just sit on the point, deal damage. J9 finds totally by marking them, and there's a quick boop into the pit with the knife. That is crazy from Rosden, and it secures Warwick the team fight as well.
May not be on Roadhog, but can still pull you into the pit. That was a brilliant knife and timing to pull it back to get Gruber into the pond there on Gardens. Yeah, they've got so much point control. 721, they need to displace someone out of the point into a vulnerable position, because if they're in there, they've got so much healing from the Moira and the overhealth.
Yeah, so they managed to get the overload out early, kill off Netta one, but it doesn't matter, because guess what? J9 is in your backline and they're looking for blood. Santix now using the Transcendence, trying to turn the team fight, but where's your damage? Blizzard Star is gone and you don't have an EMP to continue this team fight. They won't be able to keep this tempo as Thrall uses the Soundbire instead, going hyper aggro onto the opposition. I mean, totally took a lot of damage there, had to use those adaptive shields. Mr. Von now has a pulse bomb though, could potentially get a one-shot kill with that as the coalescence comes through, and it's a 5-man EMP comes through. Cheese Lord the first to fall as Mr. Von goes in for the follow-up as well. No supports now for Warwick, they're just relying on the damage that they have, and Rosden finds Santix in the midst of it all. It's just the Tracers now. Mr. Von though seems to be diffing J9 potentially. It's a duel, a Lucio and a Tracer against a Tracer, but J9 wins it out. Doesn't matter, it's just a... Actually, wait, okay, the Moira's back, can get some healing onto the Lucio. This is crazy.
You do not expect this fight to go on for so long, but J9 did absolute wonders. They're still trying to get this Lucio like a moth at the curtains, trying to nipple away. There's the Mind's Force, but the Rampage comes out, finds Cheese Lord, and finally 7-2-1. They get proper footing. Stone's got a little loose there on the mountaintop, but they have it now. 7-2-1, we're very close to getting down in the series for the first time against Warwick. Warwick would have been in the lead against 7-2-1 for the first time in this team's history. Now 7-2-1 did need to invest in mines. They are coming up to Transcendence. They don't have it yet though. So if J9 and Meta 1 are quick with these DPS ultimates, they can take this point.
Yeah, absolutely. The key thing here is that one team fight is all it takes for Warwick, but oh, Mr. Von with the DPS passive, nothing Cheese Lord could do there to keep Rosden alive, and now it's all up to J9 and Meta 1 to turn the team fight potentially, but with Thrall going down, they choose to disengage, which I think is a smart decision there.
They've got the time for it. They don't need to rush this one. They've got the percentage advantage. They can back up. They did use the Pulse Bomb though, so they have a little less going into this. Now you're looking at Blizzard Star also building this blade, and that might come up in the next fight on top of this Pulse Bomb, which Mr. Vaughn sneaking up, lets him out.
Oh, the overload from Meta 1 completely denies it, and Thrall with that boop kills off Mr. Von. That is a mistake for 7-2-1. Now they lose their backline damage. The coalescence from Cheese Lord is just going to pump in all this damage. Santix is forced to trance, but it doesn't matter. Was nowhere in range of Gruber to save them, and 7-2-1 fall apart in the last hour here. It's just Mr. Von trying to make something happen. It won't work, and Warwick now just have to prevent any stall.
Mr. Vaughn has been a very consistent DPS player, but I gotta say that was a bit of a mistake. They let the guard of Warwick go up. They shot before they went for the Pulse Bomb. It wasn't that much of a surprise, and they hit the Torbjorn, who can overhealth and can survive it anyway. They went down, not a worth trade at all. I mean, it's just chaos right now. They're trying to keep the point up. They don't really have anything to take it. J9 does a little dip in the pond because they can, and for the first time in these two teams in this tournament, Warwick are on top.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it's not the cooked comp that we were talking about yesterday. It's not this Pharah Echo or Pharah Tracer or anything like that. It is on a pure just Junker Queen rush composition, and that is a statement from Warwick. That shows that they now have a comp that works for them. 7-2-1 are struggling on how to counter it, and yeah, they're winning some of the messier team fights. They have Mr. Von, who I would say is probably the better Tracer in the neutral, but just J9 playing a bit more defensively, trying to fend off Mr. Von, make sure that they can't get those pop-off plays. Yeah, it didn't work in the first round, but after that they really got into the groove of it, and I think Warwick's playstyle right now is exactly what you need against 7-2-1.
I mean, Torbjorn, it wants to annoy those flankers. It wants to pick and prat at the health of a Tracer or annoy a hack of a Sombra, which we know they want to play the Sombra, but against a turret, a little bit harder to do a flank and get a hack. So this Torbjorn's doing so much. Mr. Vaughn completely falling for the game plan. Pulse bombed the turret at one point. Pulse bombed the Torbjorn with the overhealth, went down. Mr. Vaughn's really struggled against this composition of 7-2-1, and we've talked about Mr. Vaughn being one of those star players in those fights where it could go either way. Mr. Vaughn's clutched it up, same as Santix and Totally, but it's not really worked so far, and like we've mentioned, the pile drive is just not getting what it wants out of these characters. There's the overhealth of Junker Queen to everyone. There's the dash away. There's the overhealth of Torbjorn. There's the fade from Moira. The boop from Lucio. What are you gonna do? You can't pile drive. You can't 3-2-1. That is your bread and butter. You're out of bread. You're out of butter. You're gonna have what, cereal with no milk? Like it's crazy. Breakfast is ruined for 721, but we do know we're going down to London, maybe to get some fish and chips for breakfast. A bit of a weird choice, but it's a choice.
What is my co-caster yapping about, guys? Honestly, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, we do have the map picks instead of talking about breakfast. I know you're hungry, Gio. Okay, we've had a long weekend. We've had a long weekend. We have 721 banning Midtown, which is. Yeah, fair enough. You can't really play the Wrecking Ball as effectively there. Warwick banning Blizzard World. Blizzard World is good for balls, so that's a good ban. And they're going to King's Row as 721's map pick. So 721 are taking Warwick to a map that they can that Warwick can play the Junker Queen and Torb on, knowing that. So 721 must have something planned.
Well, the plan must be to go on on the attack, go on the big flank, take the high ground, and set something up there. Maybe we might see Mr. Vaughn not be on the Tracer for that reason. Maybe you set up an Ash there or something. There's a lot of potential you can have when you take that high ground, even just for positioning if you're still running the Tracer and the Genji. Yeah, it does look like on defense we're going to go for the Ash. This makes a lot more sense. Mr. Vaughn's not going to get a lot done, especially if Meta 1 comes out in the Torbjorn, which I don't know. Obviously, Warwick are not going to leave the spawn with that mess. 721, though, they're going to protect Mr. Vaughn. That's the important part there. Protect Mr. Vaughn. Blizzard Star poking and prodding from above. Just needs to watch that whatever Warwick's DPS goes to eventually, that they're not getting picked out the sky. It's getting really close to going out, and we're still on Mauga. I'm not believing it, though.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the Mauga. If anything, we see a JQ or a Ram, but not a Mauga, definitely. Mr. Vaughn here on the Ash. We saw this yesterday, and it was decent against Warwick, to be fair. The idea is you want to just set up Mr. Vaughn to put in poke damage, because Meta 1 has great poke damage, you know. Rosden has pretty decent poke damage, and J9 can get in the back and deal poke damage as Tracer. So Mr. Vaughn's going to do the exact same thing, just play from this high ground, try and shoot discorded targets, and put in damage from afar. Does get disrupted, though. That was a really nice boot from Thrall, actually, that came through, and then it was just a follow-up. Great stuff from Warwick. Now, 721 in a pretty volatile state. They have to figure out where they're going to position, but with Gruber going down, it's hard. I mean, Totally still in the fight, can maybe get a power drive in, but that pick onto J9 I don't think is that impactful.
Wait, displacing a backline character to follow up? That sounds like 721, but Warwick did it. So they're showing some gumption here as 721 fight back into this one. Mr. Vaughn!
Okay, Mr. Vaughn coming back with a vengeance. A nice 3-piece there. I mean, J9 and Rosden do manage to find a kill each, and they have the better spawns if they want to back off. Maybe if they don't get staggered here, they can come straight back in.
Mr. Vaughn's like, screw it, not playing Ash, don't want it, gonna play the Tracer, that's what I want to do. And they can then deal with those flanks as well if they do come from the Lucio, but I imagine they're just going to go into point, force them into a brawl situation, King's Rose bread and butter, and Mr. Vaughn goes down.
Yeah, that was a really risky play. Mr. Vaughn was just careening around the middle of the point there in the midst of Warwick. He uses the recall and then goes back into the middle of the point. So very difficult stuff there to stay alive as Mr. Vaughn. Totally goes down as well after this copy from Blizzard Star onto the JQ. It keeps a tank in the fight here for Warwick, for 71, sorry, as that Transcendence as well from Santix comes through. They're looking to try and stay alive here. The Rampage hits Rosden, but is there any follow-up? It doesn't look like it. Mr. Vaughn isn't in position, just finds Thrall instead. A Lucio trade with both sound barriers now out of the fight. It's absolute pandemonium. Mr. Vaughn has found two right now onto the backline players and totally finds Meta 1, but J9 clutches up in the last hour, finds a Tracer in the ball, the two threats, and Warwick finally get that cap.
Now the situation changes. We're into Streets phase. The choke gets narrower, big corners. This is where the brawl of King's Row really thrives, and it's going to be very difficult for 721 to find those setups, but they do need to, right? Santix doesn't have the best sightlines, can set up on the high ground there, but is under a lot of threat. Gruber finds J9 though, that's a great opening.
Yeah, that's the kind of peel you want from Sketchy. Instead of going Reddit Lucio in the front line like we saw in a couple of 721's games yesterday, you just want to protect Santix. You want to be in that backline, dueling out the Tracer, freeing up Mr. Vaughn, and now Warwick, they just disengaged. They don't want anything to do with this now.
Yeah, nice and slow. They've got the time, don't need to really invest. They do have the Rampage ready. Santex doesn't have Transcends to deal with it. And of course the mines coming out, split the team up, finds J9.
Yeah, Mr. Vaughn manages to find a quick kill onto J9 there. So again, Tracer down, Warwick don't really have that backline presence. They're just going to play as a core now and try and use this Molten Core to see if they can zone off the point. Doesn't matter though. Blizzard Star, quick focusing beam onto Cheese Lord, and Warwick again are in just... They're on the back foot because when J9 goes down, you don't have that damage to follow up.
When you're on attack as a Torbjorn, you don't get as much value out of that turret, because the backline isn't really in too much threat. There's not a whole lot of flanking being done, and more importantly, there's not a lot of positions for the turret to go. 7-2-1, I imagine they're just going to come in nice and early here, potentially with a beat.
Yeah, I mean, 7-2-1 almost lose totally there. That was really risky to not invest the beat, but it works out, I suppose. 7-2-1 know their limits, and Warwick, they're going to have to engage with something here. They have to use ults first. They have to make 7-2-1 react. We're totally going very low. This is an opportunity they could potentially follow up on. Blizzard Star just in the middle of nowhere is forced to use that copy, so 7-2-1 are getting engaged first. It's a Transcendence that comes through there from 7-2-1, and then a Rampage in response. Sketchy's going to get hit by that, Blizzard Star's going to get hit by that, gets out of that the copy form, and now it's a Coalescence in this tiny room from Cheeselord. Manages to keep Rosden up just a little bit longer, is totally taken down after that pile drive. With the ball down, you've lost your core, 7-2-1 are going to back off.
Yeah, Blizzard Star not prepared to copy the Queen. It was an absolute panic. A little bit of pandemonium there in the back, but no, yeah, you could tell when a DPS player plays a tank and they're not prepared to do it. Immediately used the shout in the copy form of Queen, so they didn't have that one major reason you would copy a Queen. So that's why that just didn't work out. We're rolling here. They're pretty much going to contest this, but they don't have a whole lot to actually keep it. They could get the mine soon, though.
Well, the sides are used here from J9, just zoning everyone who would want to contest off of the point. Totally goes down. Now it's up to Mr. Von to try and keep that touch going as Sketchy falls as well. But there's just nothing to be had there for 7-2-1. A really messy fight there just because they had to stall.
They did get the visor out. That is something for 7-2-1, but they're now on third point. 3 minutes, well, 2.5 minutes there, a bit of a cleanup. They're in a very good position. Our Warwick, especially with this Molten Core, they can utilize that to get this payload round that final corner.
Yeah.
7-2-1 though, they are going to have the Transcendence to basically defend against that if it does put anyone into threat. The main thing the Transcendence needs to block though is that Coalescence once they push with it.
Yeah, oh, Thrall almost gets caught out on the high ground there, but just about gets away. I think that was thanks to Cheeselord getting some healing in on them. J9 takes some pressure in the backline there as well. Blizzard Star finding it very difficult to duel out the soldier, but still doing a decent job of it. Mines, Molten Core, and Pulse Bomb used as the Coalescence resides here from Cheeselord just for some aggression. Okay, Meta 1 gets taken out by Totally right before that beat from Thrall. Just half a second too late there from the Lucio of Warwick, and now I think they just disengage and wait, but Cheeselord is just in, just poking away, you know, doing Moira things.
Yeah, living, being able to fade away, best life, right?
Yeah.
Now we do have Visor coming up from J9. 7-2-1, a lot of them, most of them, can just kite away from it. So it will create a lot of space for Warwick to set up, position himself nice and forward for their brawl to get the best value. That's probably the game plan moving forward into the next fight for them. The beat is ready for 7-2-1.
I mean, someone needs to display Santix here, though. Look at where Santix is, just putting in damage from the far rope. I mean, yeah, they don't get that sound barrier because of it, but they're not any threat. No one can access Santix at the minute. They're just putting in volleys, putting in the Discord orbs. Almost dies, though. Very low HP on 7-2-1, and same for Rosden, who goes down to Mr. Von. Totally just barely trying to stall with their life right now. Half HP. But Warwick, again, with no Junker Queen, you can't engage. Every piece here for Warwick. If one of them dies, the rest of your team can't do anything.
There's an argument to say as well that you didn't need the beat from 7-2-1. You'd kind of kite it away, but it's a safety tactic anyway. You still have the Transcendence, and Cheeselord is doing very well in the Moira in terms of building these Coalescences, but they need to be nice and aggressive with it.
Oh, nice tech there from Totally, doing a bit of a hop and a pile drive onto that plinth. We got a coalescence from Cheeselord now, trying to go aggressive as Mr. Bond gets taken out by Thrall. Traded out for Meta 1, but it doesn't matter because Rosden still has this Rampage online and Santix has no trance. Gonna be the copy expiring soon from Blizzard Star, but not before they can get that Molten Core online. That is very crucial there as Rosden gets in, finds 2 with the Rampage. Totally is the first to fall there. Rosden almost goes down, but the healing is perfect there from Cheeselord. We are in OT, so this fight has to be won by Warwick to complete the map, and they have the sites to do it. They're just gonna dominate these sight lines now as 7-2-1. They're gonna scramble to try and touch, but Blizzard Star can't even get there in time. Great boop there from Thrall, and Warwick finish with 0 seconds on the clock, but they still get that completion.
Yeah, they get a completion. Good from 7-2-1 to bring that bank down, but ultimately 7-2-1, they still need to complete the map now if they do want to win this out on their map pick. Again, there was a few moments there where Warwick could have played that a little cleaner. They still got it, but they could have made it a lot easier on themselves. I think using the beat aggressively was nice. Because then you could just chain into the coalescence. It's why that fight lasted nice and long for them, and they could keep pushing. 7-2-1 though, they didn't really have a lot in the ult bank to deal with it. It was a very good copy from Blizzard Star and getting that Molten Core, but ultimately Warwick able to defend. 7-2-1 now, they're on attack. This is where we're going to see 7-2-1 really thrive. The composition prefers the attack, nice big flanks, create space, and we could even see Mr. Vaughn stick on the Widow a little longer to see if Totally can boop someone into the sightline.
Yeah, it's really funny actually. A lot of top tier OWCS teams, I know like Reinforce and stuff like that, are doing co-streams of like scrims and stuff. A lot of people are playing Ram with a Widowmaker on things like Circuit Royale. What is going on here, man? What are these players yapping about? Anyway, yeah, like the Widow with a Ram, right? That's like a Circuit Royale meta at the minute, according to top OWCS teams. So Widow isn't bad. You wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal a handbag, you wouldn't steal a television, you wouldn't steal a movie. Uploading my copy pastas to Twitter is stealing. Stealing is against the law.
Well, you heard it from Rosden. No copyright infringement with these copy pastas. Oh. But I think they have to be a little bit more focused on their defense. Is that their strategy? Oh, Meta 1, no!
What? Meta 1, just on the slimmest angle ever, Santix hits it, an orb volley. Warwick now in disarray. Like, they've got J9 in the bag just trying to pester away at Blizzard Star, make sure they can't really follow up on this. I mean, as soon as Meta 1 is back, Warwick are back at full strength, and they're going into the backline. They're looking for Santix. A pile drive comes through, though, to disrupt it as Thrall almost goes down. A nice rail there comes through from Mr. Vaughn, and another. There we go. Thrall taken out, but Blizzard Star traded out for it, and Meta 1 is back in the game. That Torb turret going to start pestering away as some of these DPS players. J9 finds Gruber. Mr. Vaughn finds J9, though. That, again, is another great rail. The Sojourn is more powerful than people really realize.
Yeah, especially with the hitboxes, it's a lot easier to hit that one railgun. Rosden gets booped away from the Mega. Now Warwick are definitely in danger. There's a chance for a retouch, but with the Fade used, they're going to have to be very careful on how they come back into this one. They will have a potential coalescence.
Yeah, Cheeselord was a bit aggressive there, used the Fade and then came straight back in for some poke. I like how much this Moira is pestering. This is like the Moiras in my plat games, except this 7-2-1 actually know how to deal with this. Difference is now you got a Coalescence coming through from Cheeselord, just bursts down totally. Great stuff there, and J9 finds a Pulse Bomb onto Santix. It's all up to Mr. Vaughn with the overclock from the top rope, but no shots are being hit. Rosden's being kept up by Cheeselord, finally taken out by being out of position, and J9 can't do too much there. So Warwick, unfortunately, going to be heading back to the spawn room.
Yeah, they will slowly still get onto this point and win it out. But by Lord, did I love how Cheeselord played that. Risky as all hell, but they knew the only way they had a chance was the Coalescence. They needed to build it. They got it. And a little bit of building there from Blizzard Star, a little bit of engineering. But 7-2-1, they were consistent. Mr. Vaughn on the Sojourn is really forcing J9 off of the Tracer. I mean, already back onto the Soldier. That Soldier has more of a consistent damage output than Sojourn, but Sojourn has those peaks, and Mr. Vaughn is a character. Well, they are a character, but they're also a player that can hit those peaks.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, Sojin has more pop-off potential. Soldier is more just you want to poke, you want to draw out the fight, and you want to get sustained damage throughout it. Rosden's going to get power drived up there with some mines, but really preemptive use there from Totally. I don't quite like that. The Molten Core is going to do the exact same thing, but instead re-aggressing on now as Gruber gets taken down. No beat in the fight. And 721 very smartly just don't feed any ult charge.
Yeah, Molten Core, get rid of your mines. Final elimination. We like that from Warwick.
Yeah.
And now they can sit back. They've got their beat. That's going to defend from an aggressive push from 721, who might be looking to use an aggressive beat of their own, because there isn't yet an annihilation from Rosden to be careful and hold on to. With Warwick, they might do the same, push in off the beat.
Yeah, I think both teams here, whichever one beats first is going to be at the disadvantage. You really want to be using that beat reactively. Thrall low, going to go aggro with it, and 721 hard disengage. Santix uses that Transcendence, and still, I mean, you could see the Rampage come through later on in this fight. J9 finds a very good kill onto Blizzard Star, a lot of burst damage to be had there, and now Santix in a bit of spot of trouble. You got J9 with a visor trying to get a kill, finds Santix, but Rosden goes down. Mr. Von again trying to clutch up for 721, is in the back and building up those rails, but Cheeselord gets in there. The DPS Moira strikes again.
Yeah, Blizzard Star took an aggressive angle to get the stickies, but J9 was right there, dealt with it. J9 Soldier doing a very good job at controlling Blizzard Star in the air. It's one of the reasons why you'd go a hit scan to basically make it echo, think twice. Mr. Von though, shark in the water, there's an overclock ready. You want to see Rosden utilize this Rampage, to deal with it, but J9's already gone.
And Warwick are just gonna either disengage or they're just gonna hard commit to trying to die on the car here. I mean, there's nothing to be had.
Yeah.
Meta One tries to get a couple of kills in that small room, but nothing happens. They just die.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, yeah, that's why you have a lot of pop-off cards. I mean, Santix on the Zen finds elimination.
Yeah.
Don't need overclock. Now, overclock will secure you. Second point. 721, they have this one in the bag. No support ults from Warwick. They really should be winning this next fight with these DPS ultimates. Probably even just mines if they get a pick with it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is here, you're gonna want to stall if you're Warwick, and then the mines into the cluster truck of stalling players is going to be pretty powerful. Same thing with the overclock as well. There's quite a good long sightline that Mr. Von can play on at the minute from that high ground. You got the Rampage coming through there. Does hit Sketchy. Okay. Good kill there. Gets rid of the potential for peeling on Santix. However, Rosden's now stuck in the back line and is going to lose the copied Junker Queen duel. There we go. Blizzard Star gets the kill, but Mr. Von falls as well. J9 has found that, and that is a very crucial kill. Removes the pop-off potential from the team fight. It's Santix now that responds with the Transcendence. You get a Rampage coming through there from the copied Junker Queen. That Torp turret doing a lot of damage to Blizzard Star there. J9 finishes the kill, and actually, that's the turning point. You've lost your damage from the Echo, and J9 finds two with the visor. Good timing there, and now Warwick stabilize.
Man, Rosden carried that fight.
Yeah.
Distracting both Totally and Blizzard Star meant that the rest of Warwick, even though there was the mines, just quickly clean up the mines, get into the point. 721 absolutely had that fight. They threw it away. They over-focused on the tank and didn't push the squishies. Rosden left their team. Go for the rest of the team. They're tankless. But now Warwick have a great position to potentially hold in. 10 seconds, Toasty, and they've got beat.
Yep. The only ultimate on the board right now is beat. You could see Sketchy potentially build one up soon, but Thrall goes aggressive with this, which they are going to do. This could go bad for 721. Mr. Von already in a spot of trouble. Blizzard Star going down so low as well. Totally is on the cart, though. Warwick need to remember not to C9 like they did yesterday. Mr. Von does go down. J9 finding another kill onto that Sojin, and Santix on such low HP as well can't really play aggro and take these angles that you really want to be taking.
No!
Sketchy gets the beat, but they don't manage to touch the point. Warwick not the ones to C9 this time. It's 7-2-1. The C9 on King's Row, and Warwick go up to match points.
They had beat. That's why they were playing long. They had beat. That would have won them the fight. Nice aggressive push of the beat. Final elimination. Bish bash bosh. They're 2-0 down against Warwick. Now they need to reverse sweep. Now they're in a position where it's like, it's either reverse sweep or that's it. You're into the losers bracket. It doesn't matter what happened last match. This is the playoffs. You're going to be put into the loser bracket. You're going to be gonzo because Warwick touched the point this time. 7-2-1. They're the ones that didn't.
Yeah, look, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly does rhyme. We are in the same position as yesterday. We've had a C9 that was from the opposite team, and now the opposite team has to reverse sweep. I mean, 7-2-1, they're the ones in the position where they have to win 3 in a row now on and push arguably one of the most snowbally maps ever. You're going to have to get a very early advantage if you're 7-2-1 here. Yeah,
I mean, I think ultimately Rosden really won that map for them. Took so much space by just existing. And then you saw them dipping and diving, bringing out the duplicate. They played that brilliantly. It was all about distraction so that the rest of the team could just push in. 7-2-1, what they should have done was accept the losses that came from the Rampage, deal with the rest of the squishies of Warwick that didn't have their tank, didn't have the shout of the Queen. But that's something that they're going to have to pick up on real quick. We don't take breaks between points here. We're going to keep going. We're going to be going to the third map and a potential 3-0 for Warwick and a vengeance against 7-2-1 for what happened yesterday at the end. This is an incredible matchup, but I'm really impressed with how Warwick have just completely changed the perplexion of these two teams' small budding rivalry here at EPIC41 with Intel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've completely changed up the stakes, changed up the game. And this is the thing. When they were playing the Farah, they were getting just out-poked, out-damaged, you know. Like, I think earlier on, your good friend Crumble, your good caster duo, put it quite well. Farah is a worse Echo, essentially. And when you have an Echo, you're just doing what a Farah does, but you can actually put in, like, stupid amounts of burst damage with the focusing beam, right? So, like, when you're playing the Farah, you get outclassed by 7-2-1's comp entirely when they play Echo. And now they've moved on to the Torb Tracer, Torb Soldier stuff. They don't have to worry about that because now it's 7-2-1 on the back foot. So Mr. Von can't get into position. Blizzard can't get into position. And Santix is constantly worrying, am I going to get dinked by a random Dorito from across the map?
And it's tangy and it's cheesy because the Lord of Cheese is on Warwick's side. This is a situation where you're trying to think, how do Warwick change this? We know they're not changing their comp. We know that, right? But it's about how they adapt and change. Now, I've just seen the maps. I'm going to read them out to you. So, 7-2-1, they didn't get a ban. So, Warwick banned New Queen Street. Probably the best choice. That's probably the best map for Ball. We're going to go to Esperanza. There are two heroes that are very good in Esperanza in the tank line. Queen and Ball. This could go either way. This could go either way. We've seen Esperanza be the capital map of Banbury. We've seen incredible shifts and change. My entire mental shifted twice now on an Esperanza map. I think Esperanza's been probably the most entertaining map in Epic in EPIC41. So Esperanza could go either way. What I want to see from 7-2-1 is a little bit of awareness of how powerful the Queen is when they're with their team and how powerful it is when the Queen is separated from the team. We know they understand that. We know they're very good at displacement. That's what it's all about. They want to displace with the Wrecking Ball. I'm a little bit concerned for 7-2-1 here that they're maybe in a bit too much of a rut. You need to reset the mental, reset your thought process, go for something new, and totally is leaning to something new.
Oh, okay. So 7-2-1 wanting to play a similar comp, but then Blizzard Star on the Soldier. Now, you have to look at Santix here. You're playing a Zen with a Junker Queen comp, a Zen Lucio. I mean, you are a glass cannon comp here. You're not going to have the sustain and healing that Warwick have.
You are the biggest bullseye on the map. Santix is used to that, though. We know Santix can position really well, especially in Esperanza. We've seen it before where 7-2-1 have had a comeback on Esperanza. So it's a weird composition, but it's a very 7-2-1 composition. If it plays into what they're like right now, then it might work. If Warwick are like, oh, let's just go in Zen, it could be over very quickly.
Yeah, this is the thing. If you put pressure on Totally drops, like 100%. You don't have the sustain, you don't have the healing. It's all about getting eliminations, getting kills, and just getting a clean engage for 7-2-1 that doesn't last too long, which doesn't pair well with a soldier. You want to take short fights? Why would you play a soldier here? It's a very weird comp, I agree with you. But Warwick here, they're happy to just sit back, poke, and take the drawn-out fight because they know they have the better sustain. The Moira here, obviously playing quite DPS-y, so they'll have all of the healing in the world charged up and ready to go. Totally under so much pressure right now on this corner, and Warwick are just inching forward, ready to get in there once they have this commanding shout online. 5 seconds, and I guarantee you they're going to be engaging onto Totally, who is just so low on HP, and Santix is spread so thin with these orbs.
Beat ready from Frau. Santix close to Transcendence. Yeah, Frau's been doing amazing. Going to come into this with a beat. That's probably going to be the win condition. In fact, they find Mr. Vaughn. They don't need it.
Genuinely, they don't need that win condition now. They build up a beat, they build up a coal, and Warwick are happy to just take a neutral fight and win it. Wow.
Like you said, the soldier wants prolonged poke phase. But the Zen, Lucio, means that Totally does not. Totally wants quick fights, wants quick eliminations. Warwick, they want a long fight. They've got Moira Lucio. They want Coalescence, they want beat. The Torbjorn can poke and prod. 7-2-1 are doing two things at once. It's going to clash for them. Warwick, they're in the driver's seat.
Oh, pulse bomb. Okay, misses there. It's going to be Thrall getting taken out before they can beat the Snake Axe. Woo! There we go. The first one of the day. It is a bit of a trade here. 7-2-1 are on the back foot. They lose a couple of their players through that, but Thrall loses the beat, unfortunately.
Now, forward spawn unlocked. Warwick are not in the driver's seat anymore. They're in the fast lane, and 7-2-1's on the curb. They need to get going. They need to find the magic of this comp, because right now it's a little mixed. The visor's ready. Create some space with it. Push in. Beat for yourself.
What space, bro? I mean, Rosden just chases after Blizzard Star, just gunning for them while the rest of their team dies. Meta1 and J9 left for dead, and Rosden is still on the flank.
Blizzard Star, more like a track star, running away from the fight, creating space, and actually it worked for 7-2-1. But now they have the ults in their favor. They can take an ult fight here, win it out, equalize the field, and maybe that's Blizzard Star's role, to be the track star, run around, create distractions.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Meta1 pulled in. Okay, those are the types of fights you want if you are 7-2-1, right? You want to get an early kill, you want to take a quick fight, one ult, easy stuff, right? However, I mean, using the visor there, maybe not needed.
Yeah, creates the space, but it is only a visor in a sea of ultimates for 7-2-1, so I understand the investment. Now they still have plenty to secure their forward spawn and equalize the map. Rosden, though, gotta be looking for that rampage. The beat's ready from Gruber, though. If they can force beat first before this rampage, then Warwick are laughing. If not, it's gonna be a struggle.
Oh! Okay, just Thrall. I thought that was going to be a 3k pulse, but Mr. Vaughn still just finds like the easiest kill, the easiest pulse of his life.
Yeah, Mr. Vaughn walking around the corner like Han Solo into all the stormtroopers, but this time he had a pulse bomb. Han Solo had a pulse bomb.
Yeah.
7-2-1, they've equalized the map. They're in the lead now. They still have the rampage, but it's Rosalind that opens.
Oh, the rampage comes through, and Sketchy's late on the beat, doesn't manage to save Blizzard Star there, and now Warwick are just going to play within this Molten Core. 7-2-1, they all have to play a bit passively because they can't just walk through the lava, and there's a coalescence here from Warwick if they want to re-aggress, but look at that damage! Rosden from like 500 HP to 0 in a millisecond, and now it's swapped around. 7-2-1 are the ones playing aggro. Meta1 desperately trying to get a kill, but Santix from the far end just gets a couple of kills to clean it up, and 7-2-1 are back in the lead.
Yeah, played it right into Santix's hands because they were forcing the point. They wanted to keep their lead, which meant Santix was not under any threat, could stay back, Discord Orb, lots of damage output. 7-2-1, they've got off the curb. They've rammed Warwick off the fast lane. They're pushing forward here. Only a beat for Warwick. They've went on to May. I don't know about that. You try and isolate totally. I like that. Get the orb off them.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, Mr. Von has to play passively here. They have a pulse bomb. They want to use it. If they catch Thrall with it, that is so crucial because the only other ultimate on the board at the moment. Potentially another Ajax, you never know. Pulse bomb going to get used. It misses completely. No one in sight there. And Thrall still holds on to this sound barrier. The wall comes through, but there's a little gap in it. Totally manages to escape. But still, the healing isn't there. Totally should be full health if they were playing a Moira right now, but they have to wait. They have to play so passive, while Warwick are happy to just sit back with the Mei, with the Soldier, poke away, and wait for an opportunity to go in. That's your opportunity. The commanding shout comes through as they start to play around this corner. Santix, having gone down, means there's no Discord, no trance. J9 in the back, flanking, and Cheeselord's down. Okay, Thrall uses a sound barrier, manages to burst down totally, but now it's up to Mr. Von once again in the back. Finds the kill onto Thrall, and 7-1 are back in control once again.
Yeah, this is what they need to get back in control of the series as well, because they need to win this map to keep themselves in the winner's bracket, to keep themselves from being sent down. And so far, I like the change. I don't know why it's working yet. We need to send this into our team of experts, but you know, Blizzard Star is finding a lot of poke and prod that's just distracting Warwick away, getting those resources out, and Santix is not being threatened enough by Warwick because of these long sight lines on Esperanza.
Yeah, Santix can just throw in volleys, throw in discords willy-nilly, and there's nothing anyone can do about it unless you get past totally on the Junker Queen here. I quite like the mirror. Oh! Massive! Meta 1! A clean wall to block the rampage. Roston still falls, though. It's up to J9 in the back, looking for a kill, putting pressure on Santix now as they force that Transcendence. Both support ultimates have been used for 7-2-1. They're going to slow down the fight a bit, play in this small room, try and win a duel. Santix cannot do it. It is now J9 being pressured out by Totally. Cheezel just fades away, leaves J9 on their own. They don't care anymore. It's going to be Totally versus Rosden in the front line here as Mr. Von does manage to clean up on that flanking Soldier. Santix coming back from spawn, though, does mean there is no Discord, and that's why Warwick are able to just win out this drawn-out fight. No healing, no Discord, and extra damage. Although, Blizzard Star with 2 kills, those are good exit picks.
Yeah, the Blizzard Star mechanics are really thriving here. Warwick with 2 minutes, they need to find a way to nullify that. This Mei walling off the Queen, creating a situation where Totally is completely isolated. I like that. I don't know how much damage follow-up they have. 7-2-1 can now play a little bit longer, like they want with the Soldier.
Okay, Rampage hits nothing, but they still find Sketchy anyway. Mr. Von goes low there in the backline, has to use that recall, but still finds Cheeselord in the process. Thrall unable to peel and actually gets hit by a pulse bomb. Now the frontline pressure is what's winning out for Warwick as Rosden finds Blizzard Star. Von goes down, and it's Meta 1 anchoring the bot right now against Totally. Almost wins the duel, hits that ice block. Rosden is back in play now, and Warwick are in control of the bot once again.
Okay, Meta 1, that was a lot of stall. You do stop the forward spawn finally, because throughout that whole fight, 7-2-1 had that. Santix comes back, takes them out. Blizzard Star on the flank yet again. You know, flanking as much as Mr. Von on the Soldier, and that's where it's really working. You're creating so many points of pressure, and that's maybe where Mei struggles as well. So many different angles struggling to do Blizzard Star. I want to see a stat of the distance that they've ran.
Yeah, no, Blizzard Star, I don't know who was chasing Blizzard Star there, but that was what's going on, man. They finally get taken down by Rosden after like 20 seconds of pure running, and Rosden actually gets a double knife kill there. That's crazy, and Meta 1 double icicle as well. A nice lovely team kill to get Warwick back on track, but now it's OT. Probably about 2 or 3 fights to win here.
Yeah, Warwick, if they want to stop this now, get the 3-0, they need to be winning the next 2 fights. With the overtime spawns, yeah, it'll be about 2 fights. 7-2-1 though, they've got Blizzard Star with the visor. I don't know where they are right now. In fact, they're on the high ground there. They could get a good visor, create a lot of space for the back line. Mr. Von, though, has the pulse bomb, and they've been landing them.
Cheese Lord needs to not die here. They're taking so much damage. And the pulse! Mr. Vaughn finds both supports. That's crazy. I mean, Blizzard Star just comes in with the cleanup, trying to steal the glory, but 7-2-1, a clutch play to finish off and begin a potential reverse sweep.
Man, that pulse bomb at the end, chef's kiss.
Yep.
Mr. Vaughn has really woken up this map. Really woken up. It's like, oh, right, we're about to get 3-0'd. No, I'm not letting it happen. Man, one actually sneaks the play of the game somehow when there was a double pulse bomb happening. It'll be shown there, but I have to say, right, every Justice League needs a flash. And and 7-2-1, they had Blizzard Star, who at the start of every fight was like, I am Barry Allen. And just speed of light or beyond that, running away. Even if they weren't being chased, they were running the whole map. And they fell for it. They were chasing him. Like, stop. He has a sprint.
My name is Barry Allen. I'm the fastest man alive. Okay, I'm not gonna go through the full copy pasta. We'll get copyrighted.
Yes.
But yeah, honestly, Gio here, right? Do we think? And